Bom, ba 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 bom. Scared cat.
Hello, I'm Rob,
I'm Ash.
and this is Scaredycat, a podcast where one person who really loves horror films and one person
Who hates them so much.
come together to review horror films.
I'm his wife,
By the way,
I
guess that's important to know. Yes, we've been married for a very, very long time,
So long.
and you've hated horror films for as long as we've been together.
You ruined dumplings for me.
Remember when you watched The Evil Dead after I talked about it? And
Yeah, and I was afraid for like months of trees.
every week we're going to talk about a horror film. I'm not going to tell you what it is till it's time to record this, and then we'll watch it together, and then we'll discuss it.
Literally the stuff of nightmares.
This week we're going to watch Don't Breathe.
No, I avoided this for months in theaters, like going to see it with you, because I'm already scared of, like, I don't need help.
So let me ask you, what is Don't Breathe about?
I don't even know. Does somebody drown or something? Because, like, you can't breathe underwater. I don't even know.
You remember Feed Alvarez?
I don't know who the fuck that is.
Feed Alvarez is the director of the new Evil Dead.
Oh, the one with the girl.
Yeah.
With the scary noises.
Her name is Jane Levy? Yes, Jane Levy. Let me read you a synopsis here. Hoping to walk away with a massive fortune, a trio of thieves break into the house of a blind man who isn't as helpless as he seems.
That is a horrible thing to do. Why would you break into a blind man's house?
It says it. It says because they're hoping to walk away with a massive fortune.
But that's ridiculous. He's blind. Like, and is he old?
Can blind people not be rich?
I mean, they can, but, like, that's extra mean. I'm pretty sure you go directly to hell for breaking into blind people's houses.
That's Stephen Lang. He plays the blind guy. And Dylan Minnett, who was in the Goosebump movie, he's like the main character from that. He's also in this.
He's real cute for, like, a kid.
Sure. How old is he?
I don't know. He's probably, like, in his
I'm
40s.
going to find out if you're a pedophile. See here. He was born in 1996.
Fuck. Well, no,
So
he's
that's like
legal.
10 years younger than us. 9 years.
Yeah. 85? Not 11 years.
Hmm? Yeah, 11 years. You are a pedophile.
No, I'm not, because I'm 31, so he's 20.
He makes the cutoff. So now we're going to watch it, and then we're going to come back and talk about it.
Hooray.
Okay, we're back. We just watched Don't Breathe, and
Jesus fucking Christ.
just to start out, why don't you lay out the plot?
So there's 3 kids who...
Yes, you got Alex, who is the Goosebump boy, the kid from
Right,
Goosebumps
his
movie.
dad apparently works for a security company and irresponsibly keeps keys to people's houses in his desk drawer at home.
And then you've got Rocky, who
Is an abused girl from a very horrid home.
stereotypically horrid too, by the way.
I mean, but pretty fucking horrid. Yeah, her mom's just a piece of shit. I mean, really. And her
So-
poor little sister.
So her mom has moved a new guy in.
You get the idea that she has moved several new guys in
Yes.
over the years. She has a little sister who seems like she has like a developmental delay.
I just thought she was just a regular kid.
You think so?
Yeah.
I thought she had like a speech impediment, like a stutter or something like
I didn't
that.
pick up on that. You could be right.
Well, I'm a mom, so
You have an inside knowledge. Dads, we don't have shit. So
that's true.
And then finally, yes,
who
Money.
is just a hot-headed piece of shit who refers to Rocky at one point as his bitch, which really, I mean, honestly, like, you deserve better, hun. Like, rise above. Don't let people call you a bitch.
He also, by the way, is a wet bandit.
Oh, like from Home Alone.
Yes.
Because he peed on everything?
Because he pees on everything
That
in the
is
house.
so stupid. They have your DNA now.
That's
I
all.
mean,
That's all I would.
They do. His pee-pee is all over the house.
His pee-pee.
His urine is everywhere. If they could get a familial match, I watch Law and Order. They can do amazing things with ejaculate and pee-pee.
I've never seen them use urine.
And the Your DNA is in urine. Your
Is
DNA
it?
is literally everywhere.
I don't know. I've heard the sperm thing, but I don't know about urine.
Yes! Rob, don't pee on stuff when you commit a crime. That is a bad plan. At first I thought he was ejaculating, and then I was like, that would be... Because his face...
It's a lot of ejaculate.
I know, that's why...
Spraying on the walls.
That's why I just... Well, I don't know what his personal life is like. Like, that's why I decided that it was pee, because that's kind of impossible.
So these three people, Rocky, Alex, and Money, they are a elite thief unit, apparently.
I did not
and
get
they
elite.
have rules. They have rules
Well,
inside.
Alex has rules.
They have a gentleman's agreement
and
about how
apparently
they operate.
sell their shit to Vladimir Putin in the back of a van.
Yes.
Just like a random Russian guy
You know,
in a van in a parking lot that literally never shows up any other time.
Right. He's just there
Just
to like
then.
further the plot along. You get the backstory of all what they're doing, and they want to run away to California.
Right.
California, where there's beaches. Beaches are super important.
Well, to the little girl, because she
little
wants
girl.
to go surfing.
Yes.
And you can't surf in Michigan.
Alex obviously has a crush on Rocky.
I think that's more than a crush. I think he's kind of in love with her. Because everybody likes a damaged girl.
You think maybe she's Roxanne, and she just goes by Rocky?
Probably something like that.
And then you have
What do you
Money.
think her middle name is?
Bullwinkle.
Okay.
So he gets a lead from the
Vladimir Putin.
From Vladimir Putin
In the back of a van.
about a lot of money, 500K.
300.
Being in an old guy's house.
Somewhere in the house. They're not even 100% sure that it's there.
Well, that's typically how robberies work. Like, you don't know where the money is before you go in.
I understand that. Not in Ocean's
I don't know about
11.
Law and Order. In Law and Order, maybe they have it all figured out before they go in.
Always. And
But
they always test the PP. So they decide to go into this old blind man's house, who is
they didn't know he was blind yet.
Who is a veteran.
They didn't know he was
Also.
blind yet.
Well, they did when they cased the house. They found
Right.
out that he was blind, and he had a big friggin' dog.
That's one of the first scares in the movie is the
dog.
dog scare. They're all sitting in the car and dog jumps in the window. A lot of Cujo in this film.
True.
But
I don't think I've ever seen Cujo.
basically the same thing. They get trapped in a car and a dog tries to get in.
Okay. So they go to break into the house, and the keys don't work because the old guy's got extra locks on stuff.
Yes.
So
Why did he even get an alarm system? Like, when you know what he does later on. Well, I guess maybe he did that before he decided to go crazy.
maybe, or like extra protection, or to further the plot.
They try to find a way in the house, find out that they don't have the keys to the door because he has more locks on it.
Right.
They go around back.
And then they get into an argument, which is real dumb. Like loud, like pushing each other kind of thing.
It's
And
like
then,
2 o'clock in the morning. Oh, by the way, I had a question. If he's blind, does it matter if they go in the day or the night?
No, it literally makes no difference. I guess the only thing that they were thinking is like he'll be asleep.
Okay, that kind of makes sense.
But like the dark, it doesn't matter.
Right.
But he took the dog on a walk. So like they could have gone while he took the dog on a walk during the day. But that's neither here nor there. So they get into this argument, and then she has excellent conflict resolution skills, probably from growing up in an abusive home. But like whenever they were like,
You're really digging into the character here.
but no, I mean like whenever they were like, you know, like just because you jerk off to her Instagram selfies doesn't mean you're a knight in shining armor, which doesn't make any sense. And she's like, hey guys, what about the other door? Like,
There is no situation where jerking off to an Instagram makes you a knight in shining armor.
no, I think that's the opposite, actually.
Yes.
It makes you a perv. Or, I mean, do it, but don't say anything about it.
Well, he didn't. The other guy did.
I know, but like,
The question is, was Money watching him do this?
that makes him a perv.
It does.
They're all pervs,
So
really.
he's definitely a perv.
I mean, just all the men. Just pervy.
He also does not care about his bitch, as he puts up.
All the ladies in the world, if a man refers to you as his bitch, and that's not like a pet name that you like, do better. I mean, and maybe he does care about her in some weird way, because he was like, you know, we got to do this house because I've got to get her out of here.
So my question was, he's put bars on all of his windows.
Except the one.
which was upstairs, which I'm assuming he didn't put bars on it because it was upstairs.
Well, it was a teeny tiny bathroom window. But I mean, really, if you're gonna do bars, do all the bars. Go all out.
Right. Maybe he just ran out of bars.
Spend the money, put the bars on the teeny tiny windows. Every movie we've ever seen where they've gotten in the house through the teeny tiny window, fucking put bars on all the teeny tiny windows.
Right, yeah.
All
Teeny
of
tiny
them.
windows are always the downfall to your security system.
Always. They're like the thing in Star Wars with the thing, the Death Star, the little thingy where they fly in. You know what I'm talking about.
So all the doors are locked. She climbs in through a window.
Mm-hmm.
She then proceeds to...
They make a ton of noise.
She makes a ton of noise.
They all do. I mean, they're arguing outside. The dog is barking. They break the glass to get into the teeny tiny window.
That was the other part. They drug the dog with a treat.
Right.
So he's out of the picture. Which, by the way, I know the dog was like a Rottweiler, but it didn't always look as threatening as it sounded.
Dude, Rottweilers are horrifying.
It just didn't look that threatening in some scenes. But this is always a problem that like movies that utilize dogs have.
Nope, I did not feel that way about that dog.
They kill the alarm. Oh, that's the thing. She has to kill the alarm in like 30 seconds, which is pretty obligatory. Like, 30 seconds. Just enough time, basically. So she manages to push the button that kills the alarm right before it goes off.
More noise.
Money goes upstairs and is gassing him, I'm guessing. But apparently he sucks at making gas.
Well, yeah, I mean, the guy's an Iraq vet. Wait, no, Vietnam? What war was it?
Did they say what war?
I think they said Nam. He's a vet. He's got all sorts of tolerance to, like, chemicals and stuff. They gas them all the time. Especially if he was in Vietnam. Wouldn't he be exposed to, like, Agent Orange or whatever? Or was that Korea? Either way, the gas didn't
The
take.
gas did not take, yes. When he goes upstairs to check on him, he's watching the video of, like, his kid.
Or he's
not watching, he's listening to it.
Is he actually asleep? Or is he pretending to be asleep because he heard them sleep?
No, I don't think he knew they were in the house.
Okay.
I think the TV was on, that's why I didn't hear any of it. Mm-hmm. Because they discover a door to the basement which has a lock on it. Which, Paranoia 101, if you're in a house that's completely locked up and there's a door with a lock on it...
There's more than just
there's
money
bodies.
down there.
It's going to be bodies.
Pro tip for breaking into houses. If you ever go into one and there's a locked up basement with like a big ass deadbolt on it, don't go in it.
That's probably the first thing you should check. If the basement door has no lock on it, go to town. Have fun. But if there's like a double lock on that door, you're probably in a murderer's house.
Nobody double locks a basement door for money. People double lock basement doors when they hide girls in the basement. That's what happens.
Yeah.
That's what happens. I mean, even if you're just visiting someone's house and you're walking past a door and you're like, oh, that door has a lot of locks on it. And they're like, oh, that's just where we keep our valuables or whatever. There's girls in there.
So Money, aptly named, on it.
Oh my gosh, which they're both, the other two, Rocky and Alex, are freaking out about this gun.
The gun changes everything for Alex. Alex is done at this point.
Which is understandable because that makes it a felony. Like, it's not like a misdemeanor anymore or whatever. It's a felony to like bring a gun to a robbery.
He shoots the door, which I'm guessing is what woke...
I mean, Jesus Christ, it made so much noise. There's no way that's not going to wake somebody up.
And then it seems like right in that moment is when Stephen Lang's character, who... Do we ever have his name?
No. Blind guy.
Blind guy. Monsieur Senior No...
Nope.
Monsieur No See.
Nope. I think that's offensive.
Been seeing you none.
Nope. That's worse.
See no evil.
They say what his name is at the very end, but
Did
I don't
they?
remember. Yeah, I think at that point it wasn't relevant anymore. He was we'll just call him the homeowner.
Did we mention why he has this money?
A couple of years prior, his daughter is killed in a car accident by a girl who has a wealthy family. And the family pays him off essentially. Like, they give him, like,
$300,000
$300,000 to kind of leave their daughter alone.
Right. Which he doesn't do.
Right.
But he discovers them, or he is...
Well, he walks around the corner after he shoots a fucking gun
Yeah.
in the house. I mean, that was real dumb. The guy's not the brightest crayon in the drawer. I think it mixed a lot of metaphors there. He is
the
not
box, I believe.
smart. That's what I was trying to say.
Yeah. So Money decides he's going to intimidate the guy. Oh no! First he tries to tell him that he's just
Just drunk.
just drunk.
Just stumbled into the house.
But then blind guy steps on the lock.
that they had popped off the door.
So the jig is up. Grabs the gun. What does he say exactly? He says,
how many of you are there?
Yes. I counted. I think he had like 30 words in the whole film. And those were the first 5. Then Money tells him that he's alone. And he shoots him. So this freaks out Rocky. She goes and hides in the closet. The two of them, because Alex comes back, get trapped in the house. Did you feel like there was significant tension in the fact that they were trapped in the house?
Yeah. There's a crazy man with a gun in the house with a locked basement where you've already found out that that's not where the money is because they see it in a wall safe and they steal it before they go down into the basement. So what the fuck else is down there? Something bad is down there. You know something bad's going to happen. Either like 1,000 clowns are going to come out of the wall or he's going to have
clowns.
like bodies everywhere. Or, like, he's going to have, like, his mummified daughter hanging from the ceiling. Like, something bad is going to happen in the basement.
But because this is a movie, they decide the only way out of the house is through the basement.
To go down.
Yes.
That just never makes sense to me. Like, when
Right.
you want out, you don't go up or down. You go out. Like, it's not...
Well, but this movie kind of makes a point out of
I get
like,
it. But,
everything
like,
is locked off to them.
like, find a way? I don't know. He's got all those... I mean, I guess he doesn't.
Jurassic Park style. Life finds a way.
Life finds a way.
Which happens in this movie. Like, life definitely finds a way. So they're wandering around the basement.
Not really wandering, like frantically searching. This basement is full of shit. This guy is a hoarder.
So I
He's
think
got like rows and rows and rows of shelves full of just nothing.
Yeah,
like, what is down there?
I think that was an old library. Like, I think he ran a library in his basement.
It is creepy ass basement.
Either that or jars of babies, which would make sense to the
That
plot.
I would not be shocked. Would not be shocked.
In 5 years, just
I mean,
jars
just
of babies.
so much stuff down there, and the house is big, but like not that big. Like, to have a full basement that's like the size of a football field, like filled with all sorts of like boxes and metal shit. It was crazy. So they finally find the door. It's got a padlock on
Yes.
it because, like, why not?
But before they find the door, they find
A girl.
a girl tied up.
So Ashley's theory is
Surprise.
correct. There's always a girl in the basement.
There's a girl in the
Everyone
basement.
has a goddamn girl in their basement all the time.
It's easier to keep a girl.
cliche.
How long do you think she was wearing that muzzle?
I think a long time. And her legs had obviously kind of like her muscles had like atrophied or whatever because when so they break her out.
Yes.
Spoiler. So they break her out and they're like, we've got to get you out of here. Well, Rocky is. He's like, we gotta go. And
Right,
she's
yeah.
like, we have to get her.
She even has this moment of like sisterhood where she's like, I don't care what you've done, I'm gonna get you out of here.
It's like, now's not the time to bring it up. So the girl, whenever they go and they find this chick, she's like hung from this thing. Like, she's suspended from like a harness, and she's got a muzzle, like a plastic muzzle on. And she shows them a newspaper clipping, which why in God's name does she have a newspaper clipping from her own trial? So she went on trial for manslaughter of this dude's daughter, and she was found not guilty. So she had a newspaper clipping that says, girl found not guilty of vehicular manslaughter. Why does she have that?
Well, I think he had built a shrine. Like, I think that was supposed
And
to be like his
he
shrine
gave
to
her the newspaper clip? and was like, here, keep this in your pocket, of which she had none because she was wearing a dress.
But she was wearing something. That was surprising to me.
Why was that surprising to you?
Typically in these horror films, you just end up with
I didn't get a
nudity.
I didn't get like a nudity vibe from this one.
But that was surprising. Like that shocked me.
That is freaking refreshing.
Because nudity is always like one of those cheap things they can do to really scare people.
Well,
like,
it's not a scare thing. It's more like a vulnerability thing. Like it makes you feel like more sorry for her because like she's naked, and plus like tits. So
yeah, it's double whammy.
Right.
But they didn't go that way, which was surprising.
Thank goodness.
I think they deserve a lot of
Two
credit for that.
2 thumbs up for no boobies.
I think they deserve credit for that, and I also think they deserve credit for flipping an entire genre on its head.
How did they do that?
Like they take the main character and they'll make them vulnerable in some way, and then the people who aren't vulnerable in that way will stalk them, and that's where the horror comes from. Like you connect with this person who has a disability or has like can't see, can't hear. That is typically how horror films work. But in this one, they take the idea of somebody being vulnerable, flip that on its head so that he is the thing that they're afraid of.
He is also just a gross human being. So they break the girl out with some keys that they found in a lockbox, and then they get to the cellar door, and then when they open the cellar door, who's standing there with a big old gun but the blind guy?
Blinderson.
And he shoots Alex in the ear, which had to have affected his hearing.
Yeah, nobody went deaf in this film.
Close range.
There's a lot of
shot
gunfire.
him in the ear.
A lot of gunfire down those stairs, like in that enclosed basement.
Yeah. It would have affected...
Those things are rickety enough.
I mean, that would have really hurt his ears, too, because he had, like, superhuman abilities or whatever to, like, hear stuff.
But he is a warbit.
True. And they're inundated with loud noises. So then he ends up accidentally shooting the girl that he's captured, and then in a very strange move, lays on the floor with her and, like, screams and's like, no, when he finds out that she's the one that he's killed.
Anyway, so they're running from him in the basement.
He turned out the lights.
And
hunted them in the dark.
And he had the mechanisms of how he got around. He had the fan that he would touch. They had the board over the top of his head, so he knew exactly where he was. Meanwhile, they're just stumbling their fucking asses off in the dark.
Yeah. And where were the flashlights that they had before?
He said that his phone had died, and then he shot her phone.
So they were using their phones as flashlights to break into houses?
Yeah,
That's dumb.
It's 2017, baby.
That is dumb. And
that
also,
is the flashlight.
One time when we were home, we were playing 7 Steps, which is kind of like hide and seek in the dark, essentially, with my cousins. And one of my cousins, the older one, Brittany, said, man, we could really use a cell phone with a flashlight on it right now. And I was like, or just a flashlight.
Yeah, this is 2017.
Guys, you can't rely on your phone for everything. Your phone is not a professional grade camera. Your phone is not a flashlight. Your phone is a device with which to text and call. That's what you should use it for, mainly. If you're breaking into houses, throw a flashlight in your bag.
True, yes.
Gonna be all right.
A little mag light.
Just anything. Flashlights are so cheap. You can buy them at the gas station for like $5. So anyway, they managed to get out of the basement, back into the house.
And they discovered the dog.
The fucking dog woke up.
Because this movie is half Cujo.
The sneaky snack wore off, and the dog's coming to eat him.
Yes.
Like, also, if you're planning on robbing a house and you see they have a big dog, just go away. Don't do it. It's a bad plan. You can't keep the dog down. It's going to eat you. I don't know, and maybe have a backup sneaky snack.
They end up splitting up.
She goes in an air vent, which, nope. Don't know. Why on earth would you get into an air vent? In an old rickety house, you could fall through the ceiling.
Well, mostly because she had no other options.
But the dog gets in the room and pushes Alex out the window. Like, if they could fall through a window just because you like
The
fell
bars,
on
right?
it,
Yeah.
like, why
just
didn't they
kick those
just do
bars.
that?
They were not well installed.
No. So the dog.
But he is blind, so maybe there's that. He's just up there hammering
You
nails.
think he self-installed all of the?
I mean, would he have somebody do it?
Yes.
No, he wouldn't. Not if
Yeah.
he had somebody in the basement.
Well, he did that before he got the girl.
Plus, think about how fast he got that board up in the window. Like, he had
Yeah,
a...
but that was inside the house. He didn't have to
Right.
be on like a ladder, an eavesman or whatever. Like, he just.
Yeah, he had a plan. So I think he did all the bars and everything after he kidnapped the girl.
I don't think so.
So he did that
I think
himself.
I think he's a pre-planner. I think he planned that. So he put the bars on the windows. Like, he had somebody do it before he... So anyway, so she's in the vent. So then the dog gets in the vent with her.
Yeah.
Which double nope. I mean, the dog is like furiously
But also,
screaming
by the
down
way,
the air vent.
What a well-trained dog.
Seriously.
Because that is some, like, Olympic-style shit that the dog did to get in that vent. I wanted to mention that the only reason that the guy knew they were in the house...
Because he smelled her shoes.
He smelled their shoes. So what I'm saying is Dr. Scholl's goes a long way, and they wouldn't have died.
True. A little bit of baking soda in your shoes. It kills the smell also. Not expensive.
Right, yes. If his sense was that strong for the shoes, why couldn't he smell them in other ways?
Yeah, I feel like he would have smelled them.
Plus, a girl not going to have a smell to her? Like, he was standing this far away from her at one point, and he could not smell her.
I think that's kind of sexist. I don't have a particular smell.
You have shampoo that you use, correct?
Yeah, so do you.
And that is, like, scenty shampoo.
Smells like coconut.
I don't have coconut in my shampoo.
You do when you use all of mine.
That's true. Also, lotion. You have lotion that you use?
I don't use lotion on a daily
You
basis.
have a lotion up there that you use?
Maybe she doesn't use lotion. Maybe she doesn't wash her hair. Maybe she's doing the no poo thing.
That hair looked washed.
Not always.
It looked
So
washed.
anyways, so Alex has fallen out the window
Mhm.
onto a skylight.
Yeah.
And he is unconscious. Then Rocky, to avoid the dog, threw herself down an air shaft and is unconscious.
Which broke her neck, by the way. There's no situation
She had to have
where
been
that
dead.
did not break her neck.
She had to have been dead. She landed on her head.
Yes. Directly on her
It's
head.
not, if Gwen
They had
Stacy,
to use a dummy
if
to
Gwen
do the scene.
Stacy died in Superman because he caught her too close to the ground and she got whiplash and it jacked up her brain, then that girl died from falling directly on her freaking
On
head.
her head.
Sam Raimi was involved in both films. He should know better.
Wait, no, he wasn't involved in
Yes,
the
he
new one.
was.
He was involved in the old Spider-Mans before they had Gwen Stacy.
Oh. Well, he should talk to people.
Should do some research. But yes, no, she was a paraplegic at the least.
Yeah, there's no way she didn't break a bone.
Wheelchair the rest
Nothing.
of her life for that.
Right. So she goes over like a thing that goes down into the living room, like a venti thing. And she finds one that goes directly outside, which I'm pretty sure that's not how air vents work. Like, they don't just open up into the outside.
Yeah, it seemed like it'd be a rain thing.
Well, that and,
You know,
like,
rain coming
all
in.
your heat. And they're in Michigan. So it's real cold. Like, all your heat would just escape through your house.
Yeah.
His electric bill has got to be just insane. Unless he has gas heat. But still,
Didn't look like he gave a fuck.
it didn't. He was wearing a tank top. Then,
But before that, he discovers Alex is on the skylight and makes him fall through. And then they have a fight. And
Oh,
then he
right.
stabs Alex with the thingy.
so you assume that Alex is dead at this point.
Yes.
Because he stabbed him
Close up
With-
of the stabbing.
gardening shears.
Alex's face as he, fades out.
He punches him a lot.
He does punch him a lot.
It's uncomfortable to watch. Because Alex, he seems like a nice kid. That's just like a dutiful son that's trying to do right by his friend. Came back when he heard the gunshots. Really didn't want to be involved in this in the first place. And he's really the one that's getting the brunt of everything.
No, I'd say Money got it worse, but
Well, I mean, Money died at the beginning, and Money was kind of a dick anyways. But Alex seems like a nice kid. So
That being said, money didn't out her for being there.
no, he didn't. I guess he really did love his bitch.
Guess so. He's a friend indeed. Alex is dead. He grabs her
Out of the
out
air
of the
vent.
vent
Because
and
she's
ties her up
kicking it
downstairs.
and he hears her. So we discover that he is turkey bastering his frozen sperm into girls to try to make himself a new daughter.
So I have a couple questions. Oh, actually,
I have so many questions.
I have one statement at first. If your opening line is "I am not a rapist," you're a rapist. Like nobody says that.
I think that is a very loose, like, understanding of what rape is.
Yes.
Anytime you insert something into someone else's body against their will, probably rape. And so she says like, "Oh, God help me," or whatever. And then he goes on this big rant about there being no God. So he's like getting the turkey baster already with his splooge, and he goes,
It's amazing what man can do
once you accept that there's
it.
no God. I would really appreciate it as an atheist if people would stop doing that in movies, because we're not all crazy like woman kidnapping rapists. I'm sure there's one or two, but like that's not like the opinion of the mass. Like every atheist in a movie ever is a bad guy, and it's a freaking creepy bad guy. It's a bad guy that does horrible things to other people and uses his disbelief in God in order to make it okay. So I say to you, if you're an atheist because something bad has happened to you and you hate God, you need to reevaluate your belief systems.
We have two character types that we play. Either the atheist is the bad guy, or they're the asshole. We play those two roles.
So you've got House, who is an atheist, but he's like a big dick. And then you've got murderers and
blind man
and serial rapists
who apparently did all of this because there's no God. Yeah, they definitely corkscrewed in a anti-atheism message in the center,
which I do not appreciate. I would really, I mean, people are already afraid of us enough as it is. I would like this to stop.
So you find out that he is like every Christian's wet dream of what an atheist is.
Right, a rapist and a murderer.
A rapist come to inseminate every Christian out there with a turkey baster full of semen.
Which looked real gross.
But again, in this scene, they don't show nudity. Like, he doesn't undress her.
Right, he cuts a hole in her pants.
Yes, and they're very careful not to show anything, which I appreciate. Like, I'm glad.
I mean, as disgusting as the whole idea is, I guess it's the most tasteful way you could possibly do it.
It's a disgusting, terrible thing that he's going to do, but it's part of the plot, and they show it in a surprisingly artistic way.
But I mean, like, if he really honestly doesn't think that has anything to do with rape, he really needs to go to like an affirmative consent class or a seminar.
Well, he's an atheist, Ashley. He doesn't do that. We don't do that.
I can't.
We don't believe in that.
We do, though. We
it's
believe
amazing
in all of that stuff.
What you can do when you know there's no God.
That's just such BS. It's so much BS. That's not true.
But then before he takes this... Oh, by the way... I don't ever have little hairs in my semen. That doesn't happen.
Do you examine it, though?
I've never collected
that
much of it.
So when he plunges the turkey baster down into the cup full of his semen, which it was a lot in there, there was like a little hair at the bottom that you see, and it's just like, it just makes it more disgusting than it needs to be. I don't know if that was a mistake, or if they were like, there would be hair in semen samples.
It was placed there on purpose. I believe it was the assistant director's hair that he cut off his head and put in there. But I've never had hair in my semen.
Good to know.
I feel like that's not hypoallergenic to have inserted into your vagina.
It's just, I mean, that was unsanitary all around. She's going to get a UTI. She's going to get some sort of an infection. Like, he did not sterilize a single solitary thing.
I am kind of shocked that the first thing that the girl didn't do whenever they rescued her was just itch like shit. Just get in there. Just like, got this itch I've had for 5 years.
That's
I gotta
not how
get in there.
vaginas work, though.
I'm talking about like with a UTI or like some kind of infection down there.
Well, I don't think he'd had her for 5 years. I think he got her recently because he said that, like, she had she was pregnant, but she was not
time
showing.
to perfect his
Also,
method.
where did she go to the bathroom?
That's a good question. I did not see a.
There was no facility
Chamber
down
pot.
there. None of this was sanitary. How did she eat? She had that weird muzzle thing on.
How did he get lights to aim directly at that bed?
How did he even know that they were lights? Because he's blind.
Right. A lot of that was like
why did he even need light down there?
a lot of that probably took like years of trying to arrange.
True. And he would have needed help. Who helped him and didn't say anything?
The dog.
If you see something, say something. So if someone calls you to install
There's
lights...
probably an atheist buddy who came down there. They just had these atheist conversations about, like, you know what atheists do? Take that turkey baster over there, fill it with your hairy
with
semen,
your jizz.
and insert it in some girl and give yourself a new kid.
And you can, because there's no God.
This is what atheists do. It's in their atheist handbook.
It's really not. I have literally never inserted
That's
semen.
how we got our kids.
No, it's not. Don't tell
Less
people that.
hair, but same method.
No, that's not true. That's not true.
So anyway, surprise, surprise, Alex is alive. He bashes him on the head. She kicks the shit out of him.
And he's
They tie
fine.
him up. And they handcuff him to the room, and he seems like he's down for the count. They're like, you know what, we
But
can either...
he's still conscious, though. Like, they're still talking to him.
Yes. After getting hit in the head with a hammer.
Several times. And she kicks him in the face.
But I think this house is made out of rubber, because she survived the fall under her head. He survives getting hit with a steel hammer. So I don't think it was steel. I think everything in that house is rubber.
I think maybe he is rubber and they are glue, because whatever they did to him bounced off of him and stuck to them.
Especially his pubic hairs.
Ugh.
Oh yeah, and by the way, one of the things she does to him is deep throat that
She
turkey
jams
baster,
the turkey baster down his throat.
and like you could see the semen spewing out,
Ugh.
but he's still able to talk after that.
Yeah, I feel like you'd be in a lot of pain.
I feel like that would
You'd be
take some getting
guzzling your own jizz. That's got to do something to you mentally. Like,
over. Well, he's not a rapist, and he's an atheist.
and he's an atheist, so he's fine.
They leave him downstairs, and they're escaping with the money.
Oh, so he tells them. He's like,
Yes.
he's like, just get out.
Through his guzzling cum mouth.
Sounds totally fine. He's like, just get out. Just take, you got what you came for. Just get out of my house.
Yep.
And they're like, fuck you, fine. And they grab the backpack and they start, like, they go upstairs. He did not find the key before he went down there. Oh, we didn't say the thing. So Alex wasn't dead. Right? So the old guy stabbed Money, who he had stored in the same room
Yes.
that Alex had hid in, and where he beat him up. So they made you think that he stabbed Alex, but he didn't. He stabbed Money. But Money was already dead, so it doesn't matter.
Right.
And he calls women bitches, so fuck him. So
He's probably an atheist too.
probably. So Alex comes down there and rescues Rocky. That's how all that happened. So then they go back upstairs. Alex did not have the foresight to find the key to the front door and unlock it before he went down there to get her.
He knew he was about to insert a turkey baster full of cum.
He didn't know.
He knew. He probably
didn't
heard.
know.
He probably heard the hairy cum coming up the thing, and he was like, "Man, that sounds real gross. I don't think I want that to happen to me."
That's unsanitary.
And I don't think that they have a condom.
The best thing to do if that happens to you, if somebody puts a turkey baster full of hairy cum in your vagina.
Do you have a contingency for this?
I do. Go to the doctor, get a prescription for Plan B. You'll be okay. Like, get tested for
What
STDs.
an atheist thing to say. What an atheist thing
Get
to say.
tested for STDs.
Don't you know that Plan B is worse than a turkey baster full of cum, Ashley?
It's not. It's
It
really
is.
not.
Full of hairy cum.
It'll be okay. So just go get like a rinse. Just rinse with
But I'm
mouthwash.
assuming he wasn't going to let her out to get Plan B afterwards.
Who? No, what I'm telling you is like, had he done that before Alex got there.
But before Alex got there, she thought she was going to be down there.
If he had decided to go ahead and find the key to the front door first and unlock it before he went down there and got her, then everything would have been fine. It would have been fucking fine. But it wasn't. Then they get out of the basement and they get to the front door. They're fiddling around with the keys, and the guy shoots Alex in the back.
Yes.
He breaks free because he's the freaking, like, strongest man alive.
Or he's got, like, 6,000 keys planted in his asshole.
Or he just has super atheist powers. We can all do that.
He used the turkey baster, and then he was able to slip out of the handcuff.
Right. We can all walk through walls. That's how it works. So, because we're endowed with the powers of Satan. So, he shot him. He killed him. He killed Alex, like, right there. So
close.
So, I know. He had, like, just unlocked the door. So, Rocky is like, no. And she opens the door and she runs outside. She runs down the street. She gets, like, halfway down the street. She turns around and taunts the old dude. He's, like, standing on his porch. And she goes, "You're useless out here." And then the dog comes out. I mean, this movie should have ended like 10 separate times.
Yes.
So the dog comes out, chases her down the thing.
We end the first movie, and now Cujo takes over.
Right.
And we have Cujo movie.
Right.
For about 10 minutes.
There's a lot of car stuff with the dog. Like, she runs and gets in the car.
Yes. She has to outsmart the dog in the car.
She traps him eventually.
And then she gets out of the car. And almost like an afterthought, he runs up as if he's not blind anymore, runs up and grabs her.
Right.
So he then drags her back, which is actually the opening scene.
Right, drags her by her hair back to the house. And it's weird because, like, I wrote down, is he dragging a body? Because at first, the way my eyes read it, I couldn't tell if it was a body or, like, what was happening in the very beginning of the movie. So I did not connect the dots until he was dragging her by the hair back to the house that, oh, this is what happened at the beginning of the movie. So he drags her back in. He, like, throws her on the floor.
She sees the ladybug on her hand.
Okay,
An exposition eccentric moment.
This bothered me also. So this is a girl who is saving every penny that she earns to get out of this house where her parents are abusive or whatever, and to get her little sister away. So they're sitting in the car, and she, like, looks at a tattoo on her wrist, and Alex goes, "What is that?" She goes, "Oh, it's a new tattoo. I got it last night." Bitch, tattoos are expensive. If you have enough money for a tattoo, you have enough money for a train ticket. Stop it.
Plus, she has quite a few.
Right.
She's got a whole bunch of little tattoos.
Just stop it. Prioritize.
True.
Get yourself a train ticket. Stop putting tattoos on your body. Just wait. Wait a minute. You don't have to have that right this second. So anyways, it's a ladybug tattoo. And she tells this big story about how her mom used to lock her in the trunk because she cried a lot. And which is horrible, BG dubs. And so she got a ladybug tattoo on her wrist. So she's laying there, a ladybug crawls on her finger and shows her essentially that Alex has the remote to the alarm in his dead hand.
I think is beyond just like, oh, a ladybug landed on me once, because it happens 3 times in this movie.
Does it?
When they're in the car driving away after the first thing, she has a ladybug on her hand.
I did not notice that.
Yeah, she had a ladybug on her hand then. She got the ladybug tattoo because apparently it happens when she was a kid. And then it happens at the end of the movie. Like, she is the lord of the ladybugs. It is beyond just that. Or the ladybugs are more symbolic. Maybe the ladybugs are in her head. Like, she just goes back to that
she's
moment.
Crazy? You think it's like a high tension type thing?
I think that maybe the ladybug is just her coping mechanism.
You think she's imagining the ladybugs?
Yes. I don't think she ever had a ladybug on her. I think even as a kid, she imagined the ladybug flying through the trunk.
interesting theory.
Yes.
That's deep.
She sets off the panic alarm, which causes him to freak out because now he's
It's loud and
loud
he can't hear anything.
And then she beats the shit out of him with a crowbar and knocks him down the stairs to be dead. And then she runs away before the police get there with the money.
Right.
With probably $1 million, I think they said it was.
Yeah, that's what they thought. Why did he have $1 million?
I don't know. Maybe the parents gave him $1 million.
And they said that they gave him $300,000?
Or maybe that's the kind of money she was carrying on her when he kidnapped her.
You think she was carrying like
$500,000
on her body when he carried her?
Maybe.
I mean, he did say she's a rich girl and she doesn't go to jail, but also, atheists are misers. So he could have just been saving all of that money.
I don't know, because it was big stacks of cash.
That's true.
That was like payoff
just
money.
Really enjoys going to the bank.
I think that was payoff money.
Maybe.
That's probably what that was, because it was just like wrapped stacks of cash.
True.
So anyway, she runs away with the money. The next scene is her with her sister in the bus, or are they in the airport?
Train station.
Train station. That was a nice train station.
Well, it just looked like Penn Station.
Yeah, it was pretty nice.
Or like Central Station.
Especially for Michigan.
What are you trying to say about Michigan? A lot of Michigan is actually really nice. There's a lot of like touristy stuff in Michigan, like around the Great Lakes and junk.
I'm trying to think if I've ever been to Michigan.
You haven't.
I don't think about Wisconsin.
Have you been to Wisconsin?
Yes, I don't like Wisconsin.
When have you been to? Oh, that's right. You have been to Wisconsin. Yeah. Never mind.
On the news, the story comes up that this man was attacked. The 2 attackers were dead, and he survived. But he said nothing was stolen.
So you find out that the old guy is still alive.
Yes.
Dun, dun, dun!
And then the end.
Right. So she's walking with her little sister onto the train.
Yes.
No, not onto the train. Out the door. Did you notice that? They were walking out the door of the train station.
Well, maybe they were already in California.
That was local news, though.
It did look like local news. So
I think that they left the train station.
Because they probably decided to get a plane ticket instead.
No, I think maybe she was going back to, like, report him or whatever.
The story was like this veteran was attacked, and
they were making him sound like a good dude, and they were making her friends sound like these murderous little pricks.
Which, by the way, if the police show up and he is, still unconscious at the bottom of the stairs, they still had to take him on a stretcher and everything. He did not have time to clean up all the bodies. They would have found the 2 bodies from the dudes who attacked him. And they would have found the girl who has obviously been tied up in that house.
That's true.
Plus, all of his stuff for tying people up that was still there. Plus a turkey baster full of cum.
Semen. Yes.
And all of these things that it's very hard to say, oh, this guy must be a good guy. True. He's obviously an atheist.
But
they obviously know that. They should arrest him immediately and probably throw away the key, because otherwise his atheism will get to them too.
That's true. That really bothered me more than anything. All the stuff that happened in the movie, that bothered me the most.
On a scale of 1 to 5 turkey basters full of semen, how scary would you say the film is? 5 being the scariest.
I'd say, it's not really scary. There are a lot of, jump scares, like when the dog comes up at you and stuff like that. So I'd say, a 3. It's not really
that
scary.
Sounds about right. I mean, there's definitely a point at which you're terrified, but that wears off pretty quickly. The gun kind of ruined the scariness of it, in a way.
Yeah, because, and again, someone should have suffered hearing loss.
Right, especially the blind dude who has enhanced hearing.
Right. What's your rating?
I think 3 is probably fair. On a scale of 1 to 5 turkey basters full of semen, would you say it's a good film?
I mean, it was decent, right? So it broke some barriers, but the atheist thing really bothered me a lot, just a lot. And then there was the hair and the semen. So,
are you removing a semen? Are you removing a turkey baster full of semen?
No,
for the hair.
I'm removing one because of the atheist rant, because I'm real tired of it. I'm just over it.
It was kind of out of place.
It was. It was dumb and bad. And I would like an apology.
But I guarantee
like
you,
a
any
phone
Christian saw that film was like, "Oh my Jesus!
Well, they were like, oh, obviously.
Oh my Jesus, they're coming."
They were like, obviously. That's
This is
why
next.
people, we've talked about this before about telling people, that we're atheists or whatever. This is what they think of when we tell them is that we have a girl tied up in the basement, that we're pumping her full of semen.
Turkey basters full of semen, yes.
So, anyways, I give it
And
like
they'd be right.
No, that is not true. That is not accurate. We do not even have a basement.
That is true.
Just a heads up. And even if we did.
Still wouldn't have a girl in there, no.
No, our dog is too barky.
Yes.
So, I'll give it a 4 because of the atheist rant. I would have
Yes.
given it a 5 had they not thrown that bullshit in there. Because I appreciate the idea that they turned the disability thing on its head. I appreciate the fact that they didn't have tits on all the places that they could have had tits. I'm a fan of all of that, but I just can't. I
Yeah.
can't abide the other stuff.
Yeah, the atheist rant was probably worth about 1.5 turkey basters full of semen. Also, it just seemed like we were watching 3 different films.
Right.
Like, we had a lot of Cujo. We had a lot of scary... It was almost like the scary blind man was not enough in himself, so they had to throw in the Cujo stuff.
Well, he needed a sidekick.
Yeah.
He needed a bud.
So it was kind of a crutch.
But did you notice he never interacted with the dog? They were 2 completely separate entities. Like, even in the beginning,
Well, he
when
does
they
interact
see
with him at
them,
the very beginning. He's like,
he
come.
whistles to him.
Yeah.
But that's it. It's not like he, scratches him behind the ears or anything like that. Like, he just...
True.
And that dog should be on a leash.
Well, he was in the neighborhood all by himself.
It doesn't matter.
Probably couldn't find the leash. On a scale of 1 to 5 turkey basters full of semen, how gross would you say this film was?
I'd say 90%, 99% of the movie was not gross. It's pretty run-of-the-mill. There's no, gore, really, not anything to write home about that you wouldn't see on, evening television. But the hair in the semen, Jeebus.
Do you remember...
That was gross.
Do you remember when we went and saw Final Destination, number 17 or
The
whatever?
4th one in 3D.
The Band-Aid.
Oh.
That was the only thing that you were like, ugh.
I know. It's fine. Final Destination 4, the grossest part is the Band-Aid floating in the pool.
In the pool, yeah.
On a scale of 1 to 5 turkey basters full of splooge, what would you give it, a rating for, nightmare ability? Will it give you scary dreams? Will you need to watch a cute movie after this to keep you from being upset?
I'd give it a 1 because he lives in his house. He just wants to do his thing. He's not coming after you in the middle of the night. You didn't kill his daughter. So he's just waiting for somebody to come mess with him. So yeah, I don't think he's really a nightmare-inducing person.
Yeah.
Plus, he's blind, so he would come to your house and not know where any fucking thing is. So he'd just be stumbling around in your living room, knocking things over. So how threatening is that guy?
True. That could be offensive, but...
I'm just saying, he knows where everything in his house is.
Right.
But he'd come to your house, and he wouldn't know where fucking anything is.
Okay.
So he's bumping into walls.
Unless you live in a very similar
Or you
house.
just hear him tapping on everything, trying to find his way to you.
I would give it a 0.5.
Yeah.
Turkey basters full of splooge.
So a half cup.
With no hair in it.
Half a hair. Just a half a
Just
hair
a
in there.
follicle. Well, I think that does it.
Any final thoughts?
That was real gross. And different. Atheists don't keep girls in basements. Just a heads up. It doesn't happen like that. Just so you know. And if you put a turkey baster full of semen in someone, that's rape. Just also another heads up.
But also something you want to keep on hand, lubrication.
Or sterilization techniques of
Sure.
any kind.
What if she was sterile? What if she was sterile, didn't know it?
Joke's on him.
Yeah.
I mean, it's really not because he's awful.
So that was the film. If you want to get a hold of us, you can tweet at us, you can Instagram us, or you can Facebook us, all at scaredycatpod. That's SCAREDYCATPOD. And
Do you remember that band, POD?
don't do it again. It's not a funny joke.
It is a good joke. If you have any suggestions for movies that you think we should watch, or you have a joke that you want to share with us, or
if you want to take a picture of your turkey baster and send that to us,
please not with your semen in it.
put some yellow shit in there.
If you would,
Whoever can come up with the nastiest shit to put in their turkey baster,
don't do it.
I want to see that.
I don't. Send it to Rob, not me.
Send it to scaredycatpod, and then we'll take a look. We'll rate them.
Blech. Also, if you have pictures of ladybugs, that's fine
That's
too.
true.
That's
A picture
fine
of a
too.
ladybug. You can find a picture of a, I don't know.
If you have a picture of a very responsible cat burglar, that's fine too.
Mostly just turkey basters, though.
Just send us stuff. Oh, also, if you have any cute dog pictures, any like seeing eye dogs, any service dogs,
Yeah.
we love a good
If
dog
you have a
picture.
service dog.
So send us whatever. Just
Hashtag killer
please.
at scaredycatpod.
nothing disgusting, if you please.
Do service dogs, do they ever train them not to hump?
Can you even do that? Can you train a dog not to do that?
I don't know. Yeah, I feel like during the vetting process, if it was just humping everything, they'd probably disqualify it.
A serial humper.
There you go. So at scaredycatpods, hashtag serial humper. All right, adios.